almost like the apocalypse out here. Hello YouTube, Raging Rat Rider here. This is my first motovlog of the season. I actually have ridden a couple times before now, but I had to order another one of those little, what's going on here? I had to order another one of those controllers. Okay, line going. I don't know what you're doing. And my Sony Action Cam is a little finicky when you use the buttons, so I just opted not to shoot a video until I got a new one. So that came in the mail the other day, so now it's all snug on my bike, and I'm shooting a motovlog. So let's see, where did we leave off last year? Oh, I opted not to buy that Harley. It's actually still at the dealership. The reason I didn't is because I had to buy a new patio, and it costs a little bit more than I thought it was going to. Now, granted, that cost was, or my original thought was a little unrealistic, but in my defense, I've never really had a new patio put in, so I wasn't quite sure what it costs. As it turns out, it costs a lot more than I thought it was going to. So I opted, especially in these now uncertain times with the coronavirus pandemic, I opted not to buy a new bike right now. Instead, I'm dumping it into my house and buying a new patio. So that sucked. What else happened? Oh, I got married. That, but so that's probably the best news that I've had in the off season. That happened back in February 29th on Leap Year Day. You know, tied the knot, spent our honeymoon in New Orleans, which is one of our favorite places to go, so that was a lot of fun. And we got back before the coronavirus pandemic took off, so we didn't have any problems there or back or worrying about getting sick or anything. It all turned out okay that way. The other thing that happened is the ongoing saga of Indian versus Harley. I did do the Challenger Challenge. I was going to record that, but the dealership that I had it done did not want anyone recording it. I don't know if in case they thought I was going to side with Harley, but I did do it at my local Indian dealership. I took a Challenger out for a 10-mile test ride with someone from the dealership, and then when we came back, I hopped on in Harley Road Glide and took the same trip, and the result was a little more surprising than I thought it would be. They were actually a lot closer in competition than I thought they would be. I thought that the Roadmaster would just crush the Harley. I didn't think it was going to be much of a competition, but I was wrong. They are actually pretty darn close. I mean, the Challenger has a little bit better acceleration, but it wasn't that noticeable. I mean, I noticed it because I was really paying attention to it, but oh, this guy's really irritating. But it wasn't it wasn't like a catastrophic, like a slam dunk, I would never buy a Harley if I could get an Indian type of difference. And I gotta be honest, there were several things about the Harley that were nicer. I mentioned before that the fit and finish was better on a Harley. The aftermarkets for the Harley is a lot better. The Indian had a lot better suspension for riding the road, for like doing turns and stuff. But as far as like a plush chew up the miles suspension, I honestly thought the Harley's was a little nicer. I mean, it blew my mind, but I did. Now, I don't think a Harley holds a candle to the Roadmaster, but as far as suspension goes anyway. But on the Challenger and the Road Glide, I kind of thought the Road Glide would have been a bike that I thought would have chewed up the miles a little bit smoother than the Indian. I was kind of surprised. If I was to pick, it would really come down to what I was looking for in a motorcycle. If I wanted a bike without a trunk to go cross-country riding on, I would kind of lean more towards the Road Glide. If I was looking for a bike that I could really customize out, I would probably pick the Road Glide, but that's a basic Harley versus Indian thing. If I just had one motorcycle that was going to serve my long-distance touring and my around-the-town riding, I would pick the Challenger, because no matter how much I go on cross-country trips, I only do that a couple times a year, and I ride my bike every day, and any day I can. I shouldn't say every day. And under the mindset of, like an everyday all-purpose motorcycle, I think the Challenger is a better buy. But again, that it's not a slam dunk. I mean, there's definitely, if someone said, well, I disagree with you, and I think the Road Glide is the better daily rider, I wouldn't look at you and be like, you're high. I'd be like, well, I don't really agree with you, but I understand your merits. So it was just a lot closer than I thought it would be. Overall, like I said, I still think the Challenger is a better motorcycle, but there are a little bit of problems over at Harley Davidson. They just their CEO resigned, and which is the non-freak out way in the publicly held trading company world of firing your CEO. They resign, but it really means they were fired. I think that came down to him not being able to deliver on some promises that he made that got him that job. There's certainly haven't been, they're certainly not on pace to get that 2 million new rider thing going by whenever they said they were going to do it. I mean, they're losing business, not getting, not increasing their business. So I think that I don't think that the bikes he's been in charge of have really panned out. I don't know how the Livewire is selling. I think as far as electric bikes, Livewire is a great buy, but I don't think it's a volume seller. I think it's a halo bike to get people in the showrooms, and I gotta be honest, I don't think it's really achieving that right now. I think that excuse me. I think the street bikes, not their upcoming street bike, but the street bike 500 and the Street 750. I think that's what they're called. I don't think that I think those are flops. I don't think anyone wants them. I mean, they pushed them really hard, but, you know, they're just, I see them at the 2 Harley dealerships that have them, and they have sat there since they arrived. I don't even know if they've been taken out for test drives. So I think that that's missed opportunity with the market. I think that Harley's eroding fan base to to Indian. I think was his death knell. I find it interesting that when Indian first came out, Harley's opinion was, well, they're not really going to be any competition for us, but, you know, we wish them the best. And now they're having magazine advertisements that say, with a picture of the Road Glide on there, saying, because when you were a kid you never dreamed of riding a Polaris. I mean, that's absolutely a direct stab at Harley Davidson. And that's something that just a few years ago, a stab at a company that they said had no chance to compete with them. So obviously Indian's doing some right things. I mean, I love my Indian. I still love Harley Davidson and stuff, but I love my Indian. I can't, this is the first bike I've had truly that in its second year I haven't been looking at, you know, what's my next bike gonna be, which is, like I said, something that's never really happened. And it's green light, I can go. And the bikes that I've gotten rid of I still liked, so that's a real that was a real big revelation for me. I mean, granted, I'm married now. I don't spend money like there's no tomorrow like I used to, but even so, I really don't have any desire to get rid of this bike, and that's despite the fact that there's a new version of this bike out with a new engine.